Hi, this is Joe. Welcome to another episode of the podcast of the 210 of the Countdown 210. I got so excited because the Spurs just finished winning against the Memphis Grizzlies after that horrendous outing they had the other day against the Pelicans. Of all things, the Pelicans. That's just like getting beat by the New York Knicks the other time, man. Last year, remember
Yeah,
that?
Yeah. Well, the Rockets experienced that tonight.
Oh God. Well, anyway, guys, we're joined by our special guest, Spurs Nation, all the way from San Antonio, Texas. And
yeah, it's
Thomas
cool,
the
man.
Spurs dude Vega joining us straight from Corpus Christi.
What's going on,
Glad
everybody?
glad you guys are both on the show. And let's just go ahead and dive deep into this and talk about the great win and forget that horrible loss that we had the other day. So what did you guys think of the game tonight?
Well, tonight's
Well,
game
it was
wasn't
a big difference from the game. Oh, go. Oh,
oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
all right. Well, tonight's win, I mean, it was a good win, but it was kind of sloppy too because, there was so much miscommunications out there, just sloppy ball handling, a little bit of sloppy ball movement. But I mean, other than that, I mean, the Spurs managed to stay in this game, especially with the Argentine assassin or the Argentine warrior, how I call him, Manu Ginobili coming back. I mean, he's a big major factor for this Spurs team. I mean, if there was a reason why he came back, tonight showed it. And especially the way he's been playing as of late. He looks Manu Ginobili does not looks like he's not ready to retire yet. But
All right, preach, brother, preach.
Yeah.
so as long as Manu keeps playing at the level that he's playing, I mean, the Spurs are going to go as far as not only Parker will take him, but Ginobili will take him as well. Especially Parker. I mean, I know he had a pretty rough start at the beginning of the season, but I mean he's coming along slowly. But I mean he's getting there. He's getting better and better. Taking it game by game. You know, so the Spurs they're starting to come alive a lot more better. Especially David West, pretty. He had a good game
Yeah.
tonight too. Kyle
Yeah.
Anderson had a real good game. I mean he was very effective in tonight's game. The only thing that's just kind of stressed me out a little bit is uh, Danny Green. I mean, he's not having a good start at all. I mean, I don't know what's going
Uh,
on with him right
Come
now. He's
on,
not.
man. Don't be hating on Danny Green. He had 3-pointer, bro.
Yeah, no, I give him that. But I mean, he needs to do more than just shoot threes. I mean, but that's all the Spurs rely on him for, just threes. I mean, if you know your shot's not hitting, just just drive it to the basket. I mean, at least you'll have a good high percentage chance of making a shot, other than having to shoot a three all the time. That's
Let's see
just
what
my
he
take on Danny
contributed for
Green.
the night, dude. He had 9 points. He had 4 personal fouls. He had 1 steal, 4 turnovers, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. That's about it, man, for him. He wasn't very effective tonight, I'd have to say. But at least he scored 9 points. He was almost in double digits. But when you're going through a shooting slump, you just got to keep shooting away. And you know what? A lot of people, and it hasn't just been, you guys talking about this, but a lot of people on Facebook, the chatter is, I hate Danny Green. Danny Green ain't no good, and Danny Green doesn't show up for the playoffs. And you know what I say to that? The options that are out there, I don't think I'd want anybody else on the team but Danny Green. Because if you bring somebody else in, they might not be as good as him. You know. So
Hmm.
that's my 2 cents. I mean, what do you want to put in place of Danny Green? You're gonna put the Red Mamba in there,
Oh my God.
Matt Bonner.
I'd rather I'd rather put in a bag of potato chips than freaking put Matt Bonner in.
Well, you know what? The only
Oh
action
man,
that brother's seen lately is being
it's
put
Big
on
Red.
that big red bottle, dude.
Oh
And you know what I did with that big red
man.
bottle? I threw that in the trash.
Yeah.
Boom! Throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it
Oh,
is, man. He's a good bench warmer. I'll give him that right now. But another thing that I was quite surprised about tonight, and I thought it was pretty like blessing in disguise. LaMarcus Aldridge was hurt, so they went ahead and
mhm.
inserted David West into the starting lineup. Now, I'm not a Spurs hater, but I'm gonna speak the truth, and I know
Mhm.
people are gonna get mad. But you know what? This is my show, so I'm going to say what I want. But David West played like he was already inserted into the lineup with the starters for quite some time. He felt looked very comfortable. He was playing, he was being a more effective player than LaMarcus Aldridge has been thus far into the season. LaMarcus Aldridge
Yeah.
has looked nothing but lost. He keeps on settling. When we talked about it, Thomas, he keeps on becoming this one-dimensional player, kind of like Dirk Nowitzki. Go ahead and just settle for the turnaround, fade away. Turnaround, fade away.
Yeah.
You got more to your arsenal than that. In most of that has to be with him being out of position most of the time. We're already talking about, oh, it's okay, let's give him a couple more, weeks or another couple games or whatever. Like we said, we're already in Thanksgiving. Am I gonna have to go ahead and pray like we're talking like that little baby Jesus prayer in Talladega Nights?
Hmm.
Sweet 8 pound, 10 ounce baby Jesus with the curly hair and the little toes. Let LaMarcus Aldridge find his game with the Spurs. I mean, come on, man. This is getting
Yeah.
ridiculous already, man. I mean, you need to find out where your spots are at on the floor. And given that you've had all the summer to work on this, you've been playing games with the starters in practice. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you got to get out there and just get it to work. I mean, what do you think,
Yeah.
Thomas?
Well, yeah, and Marcus Aldridge is a very good player at it, and he knows how to. I know he knows how to post up and just do go for dunks and stuff, but he's just playing so passive on the Spurs because I think he realizes that because the Spurs they're a great passing team that he feels that well I have to pass, every time I get the ball. Oh shoot, I gotta make a pass here. I can't take the shot. No, no, no. They want me to pass, but no, they want him to shoot. The reason why the Spurs got LaMarcus Aldridge was so that way he can come in and score. They don't care about him having to pass the ball as long as he's doing his thing in the post. As long as he's putting up numbers, that's all they care about.
Yep.
Let everybody else touch the ball. The ball is gonna get passed around no matter what. But if you're LaMarcus Aldridge, you have to be more assertive and get your points on your own. Just score. Just forget about passing it. Just score. That's why they got you. They didn't get him so he could stand there and look pretty in his jersey. He's got to get more. He's got to get more involved, and I mean like
Yeah.
physically involved.
You
A
know
more
what? That's the
physical.
thing that David West was physically involved because look at this. Just the stats
Mhm.
alone tell you that he's a physical type of player. He had 5 defensive rebounds on the night, so he was getting after it. And if he
Yep.
wasn't going after the ball, he was boxing people out and keep them out of the lane.
Yep.
So he knows his role on the team and he knows how to play, get those little things done, those little ins and outs that people don't usually look for on the stat sheet. That's what David
Mhm.
West brings to the Spurs, and we're missing that when we put LaMarcus Aldridge in because he's not known as a great defensive player, but what's even more hurtful for the Spurs is he's not being as productive on the offensive end either. He's becoming more of a liability, and we even said the only way that he looks comfortable is when the starters are out and he's playing with the second unit. I'm going to go ahead and make a bold prediction, and we talked about this. I propose that actually Pop bring LaMarcus Aldridge off the bench and insert David West into the starting lineup going forward, and we'll just see how he gets acclimated. Because this
Mhm.
experiment that they're running with him being a starter, it's not working this far into the season.
Yeah.
That's just my two
Yeah.
cents. I mean, what do you have to say about that, Rick?
You know what? I won't disagree on that. I mean, if you're switching LaMarcus Aldridge and you put him on the bench and you put David West as a starter, I mean, David West. I mean, and it's true because David West is already looking like he already knows what to do. At a when he's at the start with the starting five. And look how and like I said, look how effective he was tonight. I mean, with his scoring and his points. I mean, he's getting, like I said, he's adjusting to the system a little bit more normally than what he's normally used to with other teams he's been with. The Pacers, the Hornets, so on and so forth. So I think if you put him at the in the starting position, he's because like I said, he'll get more and more adjusted into the starting lineup because he already knows his role, what his role is. He knows what his deal is. He knows what he has to do, and we all know that he's not really too well with rebounding, of a rebounder. But he showed it tonight. I mean, 5 point. I mean, five rebounds is pretty decent, especially for someone who doesn't really rebound too well. Like I say, with him practicing more and more and more, he can average almost 8 to 9 rebounds per game. Especially with
Yeah.
his defense. His defense was pretty effective tonight too. The little
Yeah.
ounce of defense that you put up, whether if it's blocking or staying or if you don't do any, as long as you're putting pressure on the guy that you're guarding, eventually they'll have a high percentage at missing. But then at times, if it's a good scoring player, they will score you at times. But then, like I said, if you keep applying the pressure, they will miss mostly most of the time.
You know what,
So I
man? I'm gonna give David West's performance tonight, in honor of the upcoming Star Wars movies. Let's see if I can get this to play. I don't know if you guys will hear it. I'm gonna give him some Chewbacca house. So give me a second. Let me see if I can load the video. But go ahead and you talk about how the same thing that we just finished talking about, uh, how you think putting David West into the starting lineup would actually change the complexion of the Spurs going forward, and just having LaMarcus Aldridge come off the bench until he can figure things out. I mean, what do you got to say about that, Thomas?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I agree. I think if Pop was to put, I think if Pop was to experiment with that and let David West start, I think it would help the Spurs. I think going forward, just until they can figure out what's going on with LaMarcus Aldridge, because it just seems like, and he is getting rebounds. He's getting rebounds, but other than that, for some reason it just doesn't seem like he's comfortable in that lineup. So I think, yeah, David West is a more physical player. He knows how to play those pick and pops. But Tony Parker, especially when Tony Parker gets the ball, drives it in, kicks it back out to West. He's just waiting for it to shoot it, and he can hit those shots. And you got to play David West to his strengths, not his weaknesses. If you do that, he's going to be a successful player in the starting lineup. And I just think that they should just play him more in the
Yeah,
starting lineup.
I'll have
And
to.
LaMarcus Aldridge, LaMarcus Aldridge is going to have to accept it. He's going to have to accept it because until he shows that he's going to take over offensively, it can't just be Kawhi Leonard. It's got to be him too. Every game it's been Leonard. But hey, it's supposed to be balanced. It's supposed to be him and Aldridge. It shouldn't have to be one-sided. He's got to go in there and just start taking over offensively and don't worry about passing the ball. As long as you're scoring, that's all Pop wants to see. That's what Pop wants, him to score. But he's getting so passive in the game, like, oh, I got the ball, now I got to pass it. Or, he's taking these wild, fadeaways like Dirk Nowitzki. He doesn't need to be doing that every possession. Just post up, turn around, get an easy shot, hit it off the glass, do moves that Duncan does, like easy post fundamental moves, and just score inside the paint. You don't have to fade away on every shot that you take. Just score and try to score on people.
All right, man. I'm going to go ahead and stop you real quick right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause for a couple seconds, and I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to some of our sponsors. We want to go ahead and announce some of our sponsors that help and make Spurs Fan Cave and these giveaways possible for our fans. Big shout out to Alamo Draft House, Main Event, Mark Overton Lemon III, Ed Luna Photography. We also want to give a big shout out to Sideliners, Native Grill and Wings. We appreciate you guys' support and all you do for us and the fans. Okay, Thomas, go ahead and get started back.
Oh yeah,
You
just
saying?
getting back to David West. I just think, well, he's a very smart player, and if Pop continues to use him the same way he did tonight, I think he'll be very successful. Because David West is a physical player. He's very smart. He knows what he's doing, and if you play him, like I said, to his strengths, he'll be very successful, and even in the starting lineup.
I think so. I think one of the standouts, or one of these standout both of the standout players we had today. We got a little bit of turning that clock back on Father Time. We got some good play out of
Yeah.
TP9, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. They look like a bunch of young bucks out there on the floor, man.
Yep. Especially with Manu, Pop resting Manu for 2 games. He obviously knew what he was doing, and he knew that if he rested him for 2 games, he was going to really rejuvenate him. Look how
No,
sharp
man. You know what
Ginobili's
it
been
was, dude?
playing.
It was. I think the secret to the game was the freaking icy hot, dude. That icy hot, dude. The icy hot patches.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. But yeah, Manu, with the rest he's been getting, because he's a much older player, he needs that extra day off. And look how sharp he was. I mean,
Yeah.
he looks like the '05 Manu Ginobili out there. Looks
Yeah,
like
he
the '05 Ginobili, man.
You see that play of the game that he had? To me, it was a play of the game. He had a steal, and he ran back down, easy 2 points. I mean, he hit a three
Yeah.
and this is after he just finished hitting a three. He was sharp tonight.
Yeah.
He was on his game.
Yep.
And Tony Parker,
So
man,
yeah.
he had a little turbo boost with him tonight. He was beating the
Mm.
Memphis Grizzlies down the court for a little quick turnaround, bank off of the glass for 2 points. Then when it
Yeah.
came down the court again, he beat everybody else down the court for an easy layup. I mean, he was looking a little bit of the vintage Tony Parker.
Yeah,
And
man,
we need that play out of him.
oh my God.
Go ahead,
Especially the way he just drove by Marcus so not once, but twice. Oh my God. I swear when he was doing it, I was laughing so bad. I was about to die. By the way, he just drove by Marcus like nothing. Like
My grandma can get by Marcus on her little scooter, man. What are you talking about?
oh my God. And I guess it was a good decision for the Spurs to sign Aldridge then, and it was just to sign Gasol. But getting to Thomas's point, I mean, it's true because right now, Aldridge is. I mean, he seems to be like, and it's true because just because the Spurs team is a passing team, I mean, he's gonna pass as well.
Mm-hmm.
They assign him to score. That's all they assigned him to do: rebound and score.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about passing to no one. And it's true, he doesn't have to worry about passing to no one. That's why they give him the ball. They give him the ball so he can score, so that way he can, find his spot or his sweet spot. And when he does find a spot, I mean, he can go off almost every single game. But he's playing, and it's true, Joe. What you said, he's playing like he's lost out there.
Yeah, he's lost.
But I'd still give him some time. I mean, he is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He is a real good player. He just needs, to work on his game a little bit more and more and more and more. And then once he finds his hot spot, his sweet spot, whatever you want to call it, from there on he can take off. But I mean, he really needs a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, you know what I found?
Game by game, he'll get better.
Yeah, you know what I was going to talk to you about too? You know what I found interesting off of the Grizzlies tonight? How many minutes some of these players were actually on the court. If you look overall, you see Jeff Green. He was on the floor 28.28 minutes for only 6 points. Jermichael Green, he was on the court for 21 minutes, 8 points. Marc Gasol, 39 minutes, 42 seconds, 8 points. That's a long time to be out there for only 8 points.
Yeah.
Mike Conley, 32 minutes, 1 second, 16 points. You had Courtney Lee out there for 34 minutes, 30 seconds with 15. And then you had Matt Barnes out there for 31 minutes, 10 seconds, 10 points. And Mario Chalmers, the newly acquired Mario Chalmers, because they said goodbye to Beno Udrih. They found out that he was just fool's gold. He had 6 points out of 21 minutes of play. So what does this tell you? That Memphis has a lot of their starters out on the floor for a long period of time because they don't have a deep enough bench that can actually be out there and be, let's say, competitive with these other teams. So what's going to happen is if you keep on playing your starters this many minutes,
They're gonna wear out.
They're going to wear out, and you're hardly playing your bench players. because you really can't afford to because you're a one-dimensional team at this point. So what that means to me is that Memphis, they're not going to be built for the playoffs. And
Mm-mm.
we'll be surprised if, they're going to make the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I see them as a low seventh, maybe sixth seed, maybe eighth. They could slip all the way down to eight. But even if they
Yeah.
make it, I think they're going to just get knocked out of the first round because this is all telling you they're not built for a playoff run. You have to have a deep bench in order to go deeper into the playoffs and have also your team can play great defense. And get granted, Memphis can play defense, but they're always lacking in firepower. They just don't have that
Yeah.
the offensive weapons to keep up with everyone. You know. So I mean
Mm-hmm.
the thing is too, I've been watching the minutes that they've been playing Kawhi. They've been leaving him in there a long time. I'm not gonna lie, kind of worried about that a little bit. Even Tim Duncan. You look at the minutes played tonight. Kawhi
36.
Leonard. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard was out there 40 minutes and 16 seconds. He was the high scorer for the Spurs for the night with 19 points. Then you had David West out there for 24 minutes, Tim Duncan 36, Tony Parker out there for 31, Danny Green out there for 28 minutes. Manu Ginobili played 22 minutes today. Patty Thrills was out there for 20, and Slow Mo was out there for 20. So I mean, Bobo was out there only for 11 minutes, which is, they really didn't need him that much, which is good because they can afford to rest him for now because you never know when you're going to need them once everybody gets inserted into the lineup again, meaning that LaMarcus Aldridge comes
Yeah.
back. So it's good that he got a little breather. But I think we need to start a petition here and get really serious. We just talked about that. Remember, Thomas?
Uh-huh.
And what did we say? We said we need to start a petition
Oh,
and
for
say,
Boban.
let Boban start.
Let Boban. Start Marjanovic.
Boban destroy you.
Oh my God,
That's what I want to hear, man. I mean, he's a fan favorite. Everybody gets excited. They love to see Boban out
Yeah,
there.
it's
The
true.
energy of the crowd just changes. And I think
Yeah.
they need to play him a little bit more. He's not going to get any better unless you play him. And he tries hard when he's out there, man. He's doing
Yeah.
he thinks he does. I think he's doing a pretty good job when he gets out on the floor. He's out there running. He's trying. He's trying to. And the only way that he's going to get any better is you got to give him some minutes. Like today, this wasn't really that close of a game. The Spurs won by 10, but they were really putting it on the Memphis Grizzlies. I think, when the game was already going to be, all wrapped up, about minute 20, minute 30 left,
Gotta put
put
him in.
Boban in the game. Let him play. So I want to see Boban play more minutes, man. Let Boban start. We got to start that.
Mhm.
We'll start a Twitter handle. Let Boban start. Free the
That would
Serbian
actually
giant.
Yeah.
I call him my new nickname for Boban, Bobanzilla.
the Boban neither.
Yeah, man. So I mean, it was a good win for the Spurs after that horrendous loss that we had yesterday. I still can't believe it, man. I mean, the Pelicans did not just beat us; they beat us soundly.
Yeah,
There were
and
times where for
I
this,
don't think it wasn't so much that because the Spurs lost to the Pelicans. It's because they did not only just take him for granted, but not only that,
they didn't respect him,
I
man.
got
That's what happened.
Ryan Anderson, that dude just completely went the hell off like no one's business. That's what also killed the Spurs because they just couldn't get a body on him. They tried and either they would just let him score or they just and then not only that they just got lazy on defense and you
You,
can't do that. It
you know
doesn't
what,
matter
man? This,
how bad of a team that they are, whether if it's the Pelicans, whether it's the Knicks, and the very sorry Lakers, it does not matter. You never take a team for granted because just like I told you, Joe, I told you, you never take a team for
yeah,
granted because you do not know what they're capable of doing.
yeah. The
And exactly what I told, exactly what I said.
Pelicans put it on us yesterday, and you know what happened after the game? I'm gonna be honest, man. This is what we heard out of the Spurs fans. Crickets, dude, because it was like disbelief, man. We couldn't believe that our team was gonna get beat that bad by a 2-11 team. And it's the same thing that kind of me and Thomas talked about with the New York Knicks last year. New York Knicks had like a handful of wins, and one of them was against the Spurs. And what happened is because we lost that one game, what happened, Thomas? We
That
went
affected.
we went to a from being a 2 seed, and we dropped down.
Yeah.
I mean, it just like that. And we could have beat the Pelicans that last game that we played, but it's like the Spurs just didn't even care. Nah, we don't want to be a number 2 seed. We want to play the Clippers. How'd that
Yeah.
work out for us? Not too good. I mean, I
Hmm.
think we just need to be able to be engaged and be focused on most of these games. You can't take these teams that have bad records for granted. And I think it was just a total lack of focus and disrespect for the Pelicans. They don't really respect them because, oh, they're a young team. But you know what? They do have good athletic players. And I think they're going to turn their season around where they'll make a little bit of a run, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think it's already, you know,
They've already lost too many games in the
yeah, they
West
lost too many games in the West to be a
to try
threat.
to catch up. Yeah.
And they're still trying to figure things out with this new coach. They are missing Monty Williams, no doubt, man. If they would have had him as a coach, I think they would have had a better record than they have right now. You know?
Yeah. And they're also playing through a lot of injuries, so that
Yeah.
doesn't help.
It doesn't help. And you know what else doesn't help? I'm tired, so sick and tired of hearing about these freaking Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are big and bad. But you know what? The Golden State Warriors, to start off their schedule, they had a cushy schedule. Their schedule wasn't
Yeah.
facing these teams that are juggernauts in the NBA. They're 14-0. I'm not going to discount them. Stephen Curry, he's playing out of his mind right now. But you know what? They showed that if you can go ahead and put a great defensive player on him, somebody that can keep up with him and blanket him,
That's what I've been saying about
he
Stephen
can't
Curry.
keep up. He can't keep up. And,
That's
perfect example, Kawhi Leonard.
that's what I've been saying about Stephen Curry this whole time. To me, he is overrated
Yep. He's a good
because
player. He's a good player. Don't
he's
get
a
me
good
wrong.
player. He's a
He's a
good
good
player.
offensive player.
He's a
But as
great
far as
offensive player.
defense, he just ain't
He
got
doesn't
it.
play defense. He can't. He can't. He probably couldn't even guard me. I'd burn his ass in a minute.
He's a buck 10.
Uh,
He's a buck 10 in the NBA, dude. That guy, he's not built for defense.
I'd cross his ass over and make him look silly. Uh, and I mean that. Curry, go ahead, bring me on. Don't want to do that. Um,
You probably do him more
he
dirty than
doesn't.
what Kawhi did to JJ Redick. Oh man,
Man.
Dang.
that was
Oh my,
horrible.
this guy's just being overrated, and it's for absolutely no reason. You know why he's being overrated? Because the NBA wants to hype him up. I know he's good offensively. I know he's a great shooter. He might be the best shooter of all time. But there are people that are saying that this guy's better than Michael Jordan. Some of these people need to be slapped. Some of these people need to be
Better than Michael Jordan.
thrown in a freaking toilet bowl and have their faces flushed about 3 or 4 times. I
Yeah, but
mean, it's
you know what's happening
ridiculous.
too? You know what's
It's
happening too?
ridiculous.
That's been kind of subtle this year. The passing of the torch as far as the NBA darling has changed from LeBron James to Stephen
Yes,
Curry.
Stephen
And the
Curry,
only
yeah.
reason that that's occurring is because they know now that they're going to be getting more money off of Stephen
Yep, off the
Curry and
Warriors.
the
Yep,
play, the money,
yep,
the money. It's all about the
yep,
money, baby.
yep,
And LeBron James, your old butt, your old news, brother.
yep. Yeah, like today he walked off the court against the Hawks because he got frustrated. He walked off the court illegally substituted.
And your famous words, Thomas, he was a big dummy.
You big dummy. You big dummy.
Yeah, he was a big, big dummy today.
You know who LeBron looks like nowadays with that mustache?
The mustache.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Man, I can't tell if that's Lamont Sanford or LeBron James.
And there you go.
You big dummy, get off the court, dummy. You ain't winning nothing no more, dummy. Look at that
I don't
hairline,
know, man.
dummy.
He's looking.
Keep her sitting back.
He keeps on getting that receding hairline, man. He can put on a little wig. He might be looking like Aunt Esther, man.
Jeez.
Gee whiz, that's
So yeah, man. I mean, the Cavaliers actually have the best record out of the East right now. I think they're 9-3. And everybody's
Yeah.
riding high with the Cavaliers right now. That they're all this and that.
Well, I mean, who else is in the Eastern Conference that's competitive? There
Mm,
are no teams.
yeah, kind of the East is wide open right now. If you look at the
It's
standings in the East,
just,
it's pretty much anybody's game at this point.
yeah.
But you know what? I wanted to go ahead and give a quick shout out real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
All right, guys. Now I'm gonna go ahead and present. See if you guys can see it. Can you all see my
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Well, I just want to give a quick shout out to Lone Star Wars. Lone Star Wars is an art extravaganza, something that both Spurs Fan Cave, Star Wars Society of San Antonio, Geekdom, Joseph Devine of the Wookiee Walk are all putting together, and City Based Cinema. And a special shout out to Alamo Beer, since they are going to be supplying our alcoholic beverages out there next weekend on the 28th. So y'all come out to Geekdom on the 28th. The show will start at 5. It'll end at 10. It's free, open to the public, and you're going to be able to see a lot of these original pieces of art. They're done by artist David Blancas. They're original Star Wars pieces of artwork. They're kind of remastered pieces, and they're going to have a lot of entertainment out there. So I encourage everyone to come out, look them up on Facebook, and you'll go ahead and get links to all their other social media as far as Instagram and Twitter. So go out there and give the page a like, and we hope to see you guys out there on the 28th at Geekdom. Another thing I wanted to go ahead and share is we're actually going to be having our first watch party of the season. Ain't that right, Rick?
Straight up, can't wait for it. Next Saturday, November 28th, Sideliners Bar and Grill.
Yep, and you know what? Big shout out to the ACLX, which is the Mopar Car Club of San Antonio. They are going to be out there. The watch party will start at 6 p.m. promptly. Come out and see the great vehicles that are going to be out there of the ACLX, Mopar Car Club of San Antonio. Y'all are going to be very impressed with these vehicles. They're really nice. Big shout out to Steve. Appreciate you. And also, big shout out to Sideliners Grill, because Sideliners Grill will be donating 10% of the food sales for the entire day to the ACLS organization to help fight Lou Gehrig's disease. So we encourage everyone to come out and support the cause, take a look at the great vehicles, and also stay with us and enjoy the game as well at Sideliners Grill. And this isn't just going to be a normal watch party. We're encouraging the fans to come out and dress up in your favorite Star Wars attires. Go ahead and put on a Chewbacca mask or bring your lightsaber, and kind of just Star Wars up your look a little bit. We're going to be giving out some free Spurs tickets and also be giving out some Star Wars premiere tickets for the movie coming out on the 17th over at City Based Cinema. We got some great tickets for you guys. They're actually going to be in the CBX theater, the best theater that they have at City Based Cinema. You get to sit in some real nice leather recliners. So make sure you all come out and support the cause and just watch the game with us and have fun. I wish you were here, Thomas. You'd have fun at that event.
Yeah, maybe.
So, okay, guys. Well, that's how we're going to go ahead and end our show for tonight. So until next time, guys, go Spurs, go.
Spurs go.